Okay, our next assignment is the Indian style lamb curry. Okay, so for this, our mise en place list include potatoes, garlic, ginger, onions, chicken stock, lamb, diced tomatoes, and various spices. Coriander seeds, garam masala. Garam means warm mixture of spices. Okay, so garam masala is warm mixture of spices. It's a mix of cumin, coriander, clove, cinnamon, fennel, black pepper, mustard seeds, all kind of ground up into a very aromatic spice mixture that's seen throughout India in various forms. A little bit of red chili flake, some cumin, and some curry powder. Okay, and curry powder again is also a mixture of different spices put together. Typically mustard seeds, turmeric, cinnamon, clove. Turmeric is what gives it its yellow color. Might be some fennel seeds in there, some white pepper or black pepper, bay leaf, all ground up together to make, again, a very flavorful and kind of aromatic mixture of spices. So that is what we will be using for our curry. So first thing is we will start our prep for our vegetables. And I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of cutting the onion in half and peeling it. And now we're just going to small dice. So again, going across every 1/4 of an inch, turning it on it sideways, and then going down approximately every 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I like to watch out for the end that has the root. So I like to cut out that root section that's right there. This right here. All right. And you can do that ahead of time as well too. You can just take a paring knife and come in, bless you, and cut it out, kind of making an exaggerated V. And then again, every 1/4 of an inch. Okay? So just like that. Okay. So there's our onion. I'm just going to place it on a plate. Oops. Okay. I'm just going to set that off to the side. All right, next thing. I'm just going to go ahead and do the ginger that I need. Excuse me. So, just going to peel back a little bit of ginger. This time I'm just using a little knife to peel back what I need. Okay. There we go. So we need some ginger. I'm just making little slices, okay? Kind of a coin shape to them. Nice and thin. And then I'll stack these up. Let's get that out of the way. So this kind of takes us back to the week that we went to Asia. So I'm just probably not going to use all this garlic or ginger, admittedly, so but that's okay because I know that I need some for my chicken curry as well too, that we'll be making this week. So whatever ginger I don't use for this application, I can always save and use for my chicken curry. Okay, there we go. Ginger. Couple of my little prep bowls, little monkey dishes. Okay, there we go. So there's my ginger. All right. Towel. Next thing is let's go ahead and do some minced garlic. Now in this one, I do like a little more garlic. So, and these cloves are kind of tiny. So if I have a bunch of tiny cloves, I could say, you know, that's probably the equivalent of one. That's probably one. That's 1.5. So I think that's a good amount. And again, it's the same thing with the garlic that it was for the ginger. Whatever I don't use, or if I find that I have a little too much, I can use it in my chicken curry as well. So I'm just removing the little root ends from the garlic. Just like that, and like that. Okay. And like that. Okay. All right. Now I'll go ahead and mince. This is one of my faster ways of mincing. I use the back of the knife and I crush my garlic with the back of my knife. That's a good amount right there. Garlic. Please, again, be very careful when transferring your garlic off of your board from your knife. Okay, so there's my garlic. Rinse off my hands. All right, now rinse off my knife. All right. Next, dicing the potatoes. So the next thing we're going to need to do is dice some potatoes. Now, the potatoes themselves have to be, they're going to be held in a little bit of water. Prevent them from discoloring, or what we call oxidizing. Now, we have a couple choices, I guess, or options. To peel the potatoes or not to peel the potatoes. I'm going to show you how to peel, you know, of course, the potatoes. So if you want to peel them, you can. But I will say that it's also not necessary to peel them if you don't want. A lot of times in you know, Indian cuisine, which can be somewhat rustic family style, they may not go through the trouble of peeling the potatoes. And the skin on these potatoes, truthfully, is very thin, and actually it's not that bad. So you can choose to peel, or you can choose to leave the skin on. If I do notice that there's a little bit of green on the potato, I will peel that, because that is a compound called selenin, and it has a bitter flavor to it. So you definitely want to take that off. Okay. If you don't have a vegetable peeler, you can certainly do it as well with a paring knife. Okay. Growing up, we didn't really have a peeler, so we used paring knives. All I did was just cut off the two little ends, and then I just come in with my paring knife and just using the tip, kind of peel that away. Takes a little practice so that you remove skin and not potato, but it can be done. With a paring knife as well. Okay. All right. We're almost ready. Okay. There's that. Yeah, what the hell? All right. Okay. Okay. So there's our potatoes. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to dice these. We're going to kind of cut these into some nice sized chunks. So I'm looking at this smaller potato and I cut it into thirds. Okay, 3 pieces. And now I'm just going to cut that in half. Okay. And then thirds. So I've got some, bite-sized chunks. Here, same thing. Thirds. Here, I'll just cut that into quarters. What I'm looking for is I just want to make sure that all those potatoes are roughly, the same size. You'll notice the potato is somewhat oblong, okay? So when I cut, I'm actually cutting, well, you could cut this way or you can cut this way. Since I want bigger chunks, I want to cut so that I have a broader, wider piece of potato. Then I'm just going to quarter that, okay? And then just cut them, again, about every half of an inch or so. Plus or minus a little bit. I realize they're not going to all be exactly the same. Then I'm just going to hold them in my cold water, which I just have off camera view right there. Okay, so this one I'm going to cut in half. But now with this one, because it's a bigger potato, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one into thirds. Okay, so 3 pieces going across. 3 pieces. So again, there's no set rule. Each potato has to be cut exactly the same way. You just want to make sure your potatoes are bite-sized. Okay. And let's go ahead and do this last one. And it looks like a lot of potato, so I don't know if we'll necessarily use all. But we'll see. Okay. So I did the same thing, just cut into thirds, okay, and then bite-sized pieces. All right. Whoops, dropped a potato on the floor. So there's my potatoes in my cold water. Okay, I'm just going to hold those off to the side. All right, next thing. After wiping down is I want to crush up my coriander seeds, okay? And there's 2 ways that we can do that. One, I do have a mortar and a pestle, okay? And that's what this is. Mortar, pestle, all right? Just like a molcajete, just a smaller version. And I can crush them up in there. But I realize not everybody has necessarily a mortar and a pestle. So another thing you can do is you can put them in a little a little sandwich bag. Okay, like that. Close the sandwich bag. Squeeze the air out. And then take a glass. Or a rolling pin. And then just roll it. Okay. Until you crush those seeds up. Just like that. So that's a real easy, fast way to do it. Okay, so there's one way. Or if again you do have a mortar and a pestle, you can do it in a mortar and a pestle. So if you are doing a mortar and pestle, you just put your contents in and you just kind of crush the seeds against the bottom, and with a little twisting motion to the pestle, and then go around in a circle. And then you've got your ground coriander. So let's just set that off to the side. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to do my lamb next. And, you know, I don't really want to have to sanitize and clean my board after the fact, being that the lamb is the last thing that I have to prep. The board can then just go right into the sink for sanitation. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at our lamb. All right, so the lamb itself was cubed, but I noticed when Ian and I were packaging it, it's some pretty big chunks in there. Okay, large pieces, way too big to eat, you know, like that, or this big chunk like that. So we're gonna have to cut this lamb down into little smaller sizes. Okay, so a piece of lamb like this, I may